everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my August book haul video. I'm really excited with a lot of books on here. A few that are fiction, nonfiction, but also a few that I have read that I wanted to add to my collection, and a few that are kind of dividing people. I actually went to a used bookstore a little further away that sells really recent books for cheap, which is nice. They do get that little dot, so they get them in bunch, but books are really expensive. So these are more recent, like I said. So they were between like $5 and like $15, which might sound expensive for some of you, but in Canada it's not. This one was $30 full price. So, you know, 15 is pretty good. And then a few that are, as always, library sales. So let's get to it. Let's talk about this one because I'm dying to read this. This just came out. This is Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I just finished reading the Greenbone Saga series by her. This chunky book was amazing. I'm still heartbroken over it, but I wanted to try more by her, and I've been meaning to pick this one up. And now I have to. I also want to just read a lot of you. I've been reading a French book, okay? And I swear it's been affecting the way I speak English. Worse than usual. You'll see that in my next vlog. But I've been meaning to read more by her since I really like this other series, and this one is an adult fantasy. You follow this woman, her baby brother and her mother were murdered by, I think it was a monster, and her father is not doing anything, kind of being in shock, so she decides to go and get revenge. This is giving like Pirates vibes, which I'm all for. It's not too big. I might actually do a challenge where I try to binge read a bunch of like short books in one go, because I've been reading a lot of big books and it would be nice to like balance it out a little bit. I neglect short books for some reason. But yes, I've been meaning to read this one. It's a fairly new release, so I'm very excited, and we'll see if she can break my heart all over again. I also like to read the book before I watch the movie, so Women Talking. I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but it might just be my bubble. This is like speculative fiction. You have a group of Mennonite. These women have been grape throughout the years during the night, and they were talking about like it being monsters or demons, but turns out they figure out that it's the men in their community, so they decide to hold this meeting in private and decide if they want to leave or stay. So this sounds like a very character-driven story, but it sounds like it's going to be a tough read, but really interesting, and I want to watch the movie. So I'm going to read it first, and we'll see how I feel. I think a lot of people were saying that they expected more, like they were a little unsatisfied with the ending, but I feel like that is to be expected with that plot, but we'll see. Next, okay, I picked up this book. I don't even know why it has a Target sticker, considering that we don't even have Target in Canada, but Iron Widow. This is is it fantasy or sci-fi? People didn't seem sure. But the reason I picked it up is that I believe they're writers. Are they writing these like giant magical birds? Either way, I believe this is a revenge story, but the reason I ended up picking it up, because again, people seem divided if they enjoyed this one or not, is that the main character is inspired and also named, yeah, she has the name of the only Empress of China. And I watched a TV show. I don't know if you have seen it. The costumes are gorgeous. It's ridiculously long. I think it was like 80 plus episodes. It was long, but I really enjoyed it. So I decided, you know what, just because for that reason, I will be reading it and hoping for the best. Hopefully enjoy it. But yeah, sometimes, you know, you have these reasons to pick up a book. There are a few authors that I wanted to try for myself to see if I enjoy them as much as everyone else. I hesitated for a while with this one, but you know what? I saw it at the library sale for $1. I was like, no choice now. The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Enrix. This author is giving me Riley Sager's vibes, and I don't know, but we're going to try it. We're going to decide, and I feel like fall is approaching. So in this one, you're following this main female character. She was the sole survivor of a massacre, and then the support group is basically a bunch of other girls that are like that. And it's giving me, I think, Final Girls by Riley Sager. I think that's what it's called. Isn't that super similar? So I want to decide. Will I enjoy this? Will I not? I believe this is his most well-known, most popular book, so I will finally decide if he's for me or not. Maybe we can pick this up for the book club. Let me know. I'll give it as an option, but I want to decide if I'm going to enjoy his work or not, because he has a couple books that at least the covers and the titles seemed appealing, and now we'll know if his writing will work for me or not. Speaking of which, I saw this author a year or two ago everywhere. There's also this other book by them. Let me just, there, this is the cover of it. I've seen that. I don't know if this is the second one, but this is part of the like dark academia-ish vibes, girlies, which I read a couple books that I was seeing on lists with this one, like Bunny, and a few of the ones that ended up DNFing. I did not finish them, and I will never finish them. So I was a little scared, but again, seeing it at a library sale, I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Fall again is approaching. This is when I tend to read more dark academia, so we're going to try it. Hopefully that's what it is, but I feel like dark academia is like a school setting, insufferable characters, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that's actually what this is about, but yeah, I was intrigued. I want to try it, and I will. I mentioned how I wanted to get books that I have read and enjoyed because I'm trying to get to a point where my bookshelves represent my taste. I feel like doing my read it or unhaul it challenge has helped because I'm going through a lot of books deciding if I want to have them on my shelf or not. But I also want to buy the books that I've enjoyed from the library when I see them, including this one. This is Dead Silence. This is a sci-fi horror, which I feel like mystery thriller horror tend to work better for me if they have a little bit of sci-fi at least. In this one, it's definitely sci-fi. You have this group of people that are on mission at the limit of the known space. And as they're about to leave, they see this big ship that disappeared a year prior, which contained like a bunch of rich and famous people and just went missing somehow in space. And they decide to go because if they find it, they get to keep the treasures or at least part of the money. So they go and explore it, which I feel like it's an easy way to creep you out, to have like a dark, cold spaceship with dead people or people that disappeared in it. So they go and try to figure out what happened. Definitely made me feel super uncomfortable. I feel like it's hard to be like truly scared while reading a book, but definitely felt uncomfortable. Do want to mention the romance, just ignore it. It's not great, and like it affects part of the ending, which after the ending really, but the horror is really good. So would recommend it. I actually like the ending too. I feel like so many horror books, they don't know how to end their books and it just, it ruins it. But not in this case. I actually liked the ending. I feel like too many of them have open endings. That is my biggest complaint. This one doesn't. So do read it if you're looking for something. Again, fall is approaching. Perfect moment for it. I do have this nonfiction that I also have read, but I wanted to own, and Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That the Movement Forgot. This is a really good introduction to intersectional feminism. So I feel like we've all seen this book, but I had gotten the audiobook from the library and now I own a physical copy, although it is sticky, but you know, used book, can't complain too much. I'm going to try to like see if I can do something, but I feel like because it's a paper, you know, cover thingy, I'm afraid it's going to ruin it, but I'm going to try because I really wanted to own this. I needed it, so now I do. Now I do. I've been really hoarding nonfiction this year, and I'm happy about it. I feel like I'm finally getting to a point where I like the nonfictions on my shelf, and they're not just random ones. They're so hard to find used. The next two are actually some of your suggestions. I've been trying to listen more to you, but I feel like I want to do videos about it, like reading vlogs, reading your recommendations. But also, these two books will work because next year I want to do a challenge where I try to read, instead of doing basically my Goodreads Choice Award thing, challenge, I want to try to do one where I read a bunch of the nominees or winners for the Nebula and Hugo Award, which tend to be like fantasy sci-fi that are right up my alley. I've looked quickly at like the last 5 years and I had read a good amount, but I'm gonna try to go and like go further, and we'll decide how many I try to read in a year or something. But yeah, I think one or two of these were on the list. Either way, they were recommended by you, so I have them now. This is the Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. This, apparently people are saying this is like a fiction version of Hidden Figures. So basically kind of mixes historical fiction, sci-fi of women that go into space. I believe there's a huge meteorite. I can't say that in English right now. Okay, it's the French book. And like climate cataclysm, and it's supposed to be really good. A lot of people were saying this is fantastic. This is the first book in the trilogy, and I've heard that the rest is even better, but they did have the rest and I didn't want to buy the whole thing. I've been burned too many times. I have a good feeling about it though, but I only grabbed the first one. We'll see. I like the idea of a mix of historical fiction with sci-fi. I feel like, again, I love sci-fi, and maybe mixing that genre will make it even more interesting, and I really did like the movie Hidden Figures, so we'll get to that one. It's fairly chunky. I'm intrigued. And the second one, also by the same author. And I think this one is being nominated because it was released last year. Oh no, it is. Maybe not. I thought this was a new release. Yeah, 2022. Okay, but on the cover it says from Hugo, Locus, and Nibbles Award winners. So I thought it was just a nominee for the Hugo one. Anyway, this is The Spare Men, and this one is a murder mystery sci-fi. So again, that sounds right up my alley. I believe this one was recommended by you a couple times. It has a few things that I like. Like I said, murder mystery, lock room, kind of like it's on a spaceship and like someone dies, so it has to be someone from the ship. It contains, like I said, the mix of sci-fi and the murder mystery, and it features an older female character. I think she's only in her 40s, but I feel like I've been trying to read more books that follow someone that is not like 20 or under, and that the story is not centered around her being like a woman, a mother. And this is it. So basically, this main female character is on her honeymoon on the spaceship. There's a murder and her husband is suspected of being the killer. So that sounded interesting. Again, lock room. So I think this could work also for fall. Maybe again, we want to read that for the book club. I've heard fantastic things about the author. So there I am. Finally, I listened. I saw them. I screamed a little bit. So now I have these two to read. I also want to do a vlog. I have too many ideas and not enough time, where I read books based on the titles or like the cover, just the vibes. And I picked up one a few months ago for that purpose, and I have yet to do the vlog. So I decided to grab another one because why not? This is it. I don't know why, just the vibes were appealing. I know it's kind of creepy, but it feels kind of calming for me. Fall vibes. This is Once There Were Wolves, and I don't know why that spoke to me. So I tried not to look too much into it, but it had good reviews, and you're following these twin sisters who go in Scotland to reintroduce wolves, and then there's someone that dies and people are accusing the wolves, and like the main female character is trying to defend the wolves, something like that. And for some reason, again, I decided, you know what, it sounds different from anything else I've been reading, and I feel like this would be great for the vlog, so bought it for the vlog. Ooh, the next one is also speculative fiction. I've been trying to find anything and everything that could be similar to I Who Have Never Known Men, which I have been raving nonstop about it. I will continue to do so. But I've accumulated a couple books that apparently will be similar. Should I do a vlog and read a bunch of them in one go, or should I just, savor them slowly and let you know one day when I find something that is somewhat similar, or a group recommendation video? Let me know. But this is Woman on the Edge of Time. This one seemed to divide people on the Goodreads reviews, but I feel like anything that is a little bit more complex and unique tend to divide people in general. I don't know where I will fall with it, but like I said, speculative fiction. You follow main character. I believe she is living on the streets of New York, and she is committed unjustly to a mental institution. And she has lost everything, and she's presented with two possible futures for humanity. One of them that is basically like a utopia, and one of them that is like a dystopian version. So this is supposed to discuss things like sexism, racism, that kind of stuff, and supposed to be giving the vibes. I feel like there were a lot of like speculative fiction, kind of feminist books in the 70s and 80s, and this sounds like it's one of them. So I'm gonna try it. Hopefully I like it, whether it's similar to the other one or not. I just want to read more, and that sounded cool. It's kind of not really time traveling, but like I like the idea of like having a choice. I don't know if she has a choice, but like seeing different possible path for humanity. So then we have some more nonfiction. The first one was from my Amazon wishlist, which thank you so much to the person that bought it, but Amazon did not put the paper. Usually they give me a paper with your name and like whatever note you wrote me. And sometimes they don't. But I've had this one for a little while and I forgot to mention it, I think. This is Survival of the Sickest, the surprising connections between disease and longevity. And that sounded really cool. I've been trying to read fun nonfiction books and then just read more in general and then do recommendation videos. Or at this point, I'm doing like a yearly roundup reviewing all of them. I did last year with like 30 of them. This year it's been rough, but I'm back to reading nonfiction. So this sounded cool. It's not super long and the topic sounds fun. about people dying from diseases, but fun. So I'll let you know how that goes, but sounded cool. I wanted it. So that's it. These are all the books that I've picked up in the last couple of weeks. Let me know in the comment section if you have read any of these, which ones I should prioritize, which ones you would be interested in reading for the book club. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will go back to reading my French book that will ruin my English for the next couple of weeks. And it's like a French book, so it's the worst. I will see you next video. Let me grab one of the kittens for you. She was sleeping, so she's very grumpy right now. She looks so adorable when she's grumpy. Hi, Claudia. Yeah, she is sleepy. Oh, Chunky's more awake. Hi, BB. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, he's so adorable.